service so far. The singing has been spectacular. How He loves us. What a song. Yeah. That song got me going, y'all, for real. Wow. And it's interesting because we're going to be talking about that today. How Jesus Christ loves us. We've been undergoing a series that we entitled The Echoes of God's Great Mystery. In the past couple of Sundays, we took a bit of a break from the series, although we know, of course, that the scriptures are connected.
Right.
And today we're doing the last sermon on this series. The title of the sermon today is the final chapter, God's Kind of Love. Because there is the kind of love that we have. The way that we love. And it stems from God. Of course, we're made in His image. We have to love a little bit, right? But you know what? We know how to love when we are loved. We know how to love when the person that we are loving is a good person, quote unquote. We know how to love when things are going all right in our lives. When we're happy. When there's no drama. God's kind of love is different. And I have a smile on my face because that kind of love, I receive it every day. I'm a joyous man. I'm a blessed man. I don't deserve to be loved by God the way He loves me. And that in itself, brothers and sisters, is not only a mystery, it is perhaps the biggest mystery out there. I still don't comprehend the love of God. I don't get it. I sure don't love that way. I pushed myself to do so, but I failed so many times. Let's say a word of prayer. Dear Father God, we are thrilled to be loved by You. Yes, Father God, mysteries such as faith rattle our lives every day. The Holy Spirit, Father, miracles, things that are amazing that You do. But Father, the way You love us is ultimate. And we are so grateful, Father God, to be recipients of that love. We pray, Father God, that Your love still conducts us today. As we get into the scriptures, as we get into what You've told us about Your love, that we can be even more so impacted. Father, this lesson is personal to me, and I will be sharing this with my brothers and sisters today because I'm excited. I'm excited to learn to love this way, Father God. Father, we are sorry for our sins. We're sorry for the lies, for the thievery, Father. We're sorry for the dishonesty. We're sorry for the pride. We're sorry for selfishness. We're sorry for impurity. Father, we are more so guilty and sorry for our lack of loving. And we are thankful for Christ, the ultimate example of love. In His name we pray, amen. Amen. I got a confession to make to you this morning. My name is Tino. I am the evangelist of this church. I've been a Christian 24 and a half years. February the 19th, 1994 is when I was baptized. So this coming February will be 25. And you know, it is a quarter of a century. Right? I'm 40 years old. I was baptized when I was 15. And so I can't wait to celebrate. I want to do something. I don't know what it is. But I got a confession to make to you. I am convinced that what ought to drive my spiritual life, what ought to direct me on a daily basis, for the most part, is the cross. Is Jesus, Him dead, him buried, and him resurrected on the third day. Because the grace that comes out of that is what pours on my soul on a daily basis. What obliterates my sin. What makes me look perfect before God. Despite all my wrongdoings. But I'm going to tell you this. I've discovered lately that my life as a Christian is motivated by something amazing. Something grandiose. And I've always shared how I got sick and almost died and God saved my life. And I always think about the promise that I gave God. I will never look back. Regardless of what I go through. Regardless of what folks say or the different persecutions. Regardless of my own failings, of which I'm still suffering consequences. I will never look back. And I will always give you my entire life. That promise is always guiding me. And I remember exactly almost 26 years ago when I was making that promise. I am guided by God's love for me. How he saved my life after I rejected him. And all that is connected to the cross. And I am intellectually aware of the cross. And Jesus' death on the cross for me. But my confession to you is, I still don't believe that I have full mastery, spiritually speaking, of what the cross is about. I don't get it. I don't understand. I'm not sure if I ever will. It's too much for me sometimes. I tell myself, Christ could have loved me in other ways. He could have done something else to save my life. Why all these sufferings? And so spiritually speaking, I still today have a hard time connecting. You know, there used to be a time within our premises when we would study the Bible and we would really push with the person that we're studying with what I just shared. As a matter of fact, if you did not come to a point where you truly understood the cross, where you were broken and contrite, to the point of even shedding tears, you were rendered not ready to get baptized. You know what I tell people today? What I tell this young man? Kobe is going to be a year old spiritually tomorrow. I studied the Bible with those guys. God honored me with that. You know what I tell them? I tell them, you know what? You're not going to get it right now. Your heart to want to make Jesus Lord is enough. You're going to become a disciple of Jesus Christ. But it's going to be your responsibility to connect with the cross throughout your entire life. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's not something that you gain when you study the Bible. It's a lifelong battle. And I believe that that's the battle that I'm fighting today. Yes, I call it a confession because I believe that it is something that I ought to grasp. And for the rest of my life, as long as I don't feel like I truly get it, as I share that with somebody, I will always call it a confession. Let's go to the book of Mark. Mark chapter 14. The main frame of scripture today is going to be Mark 14:32 to Mark 15:34. Now, no need to worry, we will not read all of these words. At least not here on the pulpit. But I call you to read all these words when you go home. Because it truly gives you a glimpse of what Christ went through. You know, one reason why I don't get the cross, one reason why I don't understand it, one reason why I'm so shallow in my mindset about the cross his physicalness was tangible, what I see, what I'm visually aware of. And ever since I was little, what I was always aware of when it came to Christ and him dead on the cross, him suffering, was the 39 lashes on his back. After the 39th lash, they would stop in order to respect the law. You had two strong men, one on each side, who would take turns with small whips. At the end of each stride, there was broken pieces of glasses and bones and sharp objects. By the time they were done beating Christ, what we see on TV is not what was really going on. It wasn't just traces and marks on his back. His back was basically like ground beef. Shredded meat, full of blood. And as opposed to what we see on TV for appropriate purposes, Christ did not have anything on his body, not even in his midsection. No clothes whatsoever. It was to completely humiliate him, as they would mock him with a fake crown. To talk about him being the king. And they will make that fake crown with thistles and thorns. They will make sure that the crown pierced the shadow part of his head. Because that's where you have all the capillaries, the veins. And his face was filled with blood. That's after they punched him, beat him, insulted him, called him all kinds of names. You know something that went on when they beat his back? They would then throw a piece of cloth made of wool on his back. It was usually wool and it was kind of like reddish. They usually made sure it was kind of burgundy-ish. Why? Because that color attracts blood. You know how you wear something that's black and it attracts the sun and it's hotter? Same thing with blood. Something red will get stuck to it. They will make sure that it was stuck on his back for a couple of hours. Because then the wound on his back was still painful, was at least starting to kind of dry out a little bit. And then when they were ready to go and kill him, they would take the thing off his back, but they would snatch it. It would be like you having a small little wound and you put a Band-Aid, and when you're ready to take the Band-Aid off, it creates a whole other wound. They tortured him. They tried to make him deny who he really was. And the only question that he answered positively was, "Are you truly the king?" He said, "You said so." "Yes, I am." Because that was his conviction. Because it was the truth. That's my view of the cross. That's what I remember. That's what I've seen. That's what I've seen on TV. That's what I've seen being done in plays. And my view of the cross is that, and as powerful as that is in my mind, it stops there. My view of the cross is limited. Where is your view of Christ? Mark 14. Don't start verse 32. The Bible says, they went to a place called Gethsemane. I know it probably just said 32 while they're there. It goes further. Thank you, bro. They went to a place called Gethsemane. And Jesus said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." So he took the 12, his best buddies, and he had them come and he told them, "You know, I want you to chill here in John. Yes, I got news for you. Even Christ had best friends. Yeah, Christ is full God. But Christ was also full man. He had those needs. He needed people in his life. Who are your besties? And he began to be deeply stressed and troubled. The Bible says in verse 34 that he said to his people, my soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death. I've been stressed before, brothers and sisters. I know you have as well. We get stressed by things of life. We get stressed by our marriages sometimes, parenting, money or the lack thereof. We get stressed by all kinds of issues. We get stressed by the news, for crying out loud. We get stressed by politics, division. We get stressed by racism, bigotry, lies, pride. Someone hurt our feelings. But I'm not sure if our souls have ever been stressed to the point of death. He said, my soul. I mean, that's how deep it was. He knew what he was about to go through. He said to them, stay here and keep watch. He's begging them, keep watch. Stay away from me. I need you. Stay away for me. Keep watch. Going a little further, he fell to the ground and prayed that if possible the hour might pass from him. Abba, Father, he said, everything is possible for you. Take this cup from me. Yet not what I will, but what you will. Then he returned to his disciples and found them sleeping. Simon said, he said to Peter, are you asleep? Couldn't you keep watch for 1 hour? 1 hour! Watch and pray so that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the body is weak. Once more he went away and prayed the same thing. When he came back, again he found them sleeping because their eyes were heavy. You've been there before? They did not know what to say to him. Returning the third time, he said to them, are you still sleeping and resting? Enough. The hour has come. Look, the Son of Man is delivered into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. Here comes my betrayer. My view of the cross may not be skewed, but it is limited. I associate what Christ went through to physical troubles. But you know what's interesting is that Christ started suffering way before the physical stuff. In the midst of the hardest stuff he was about to go through, his pals, his best friends, his family, the people that he called his family, the people that say, you know, those are the ones who are my family. They were sleeping on him. I'll tell you what, if I'm driving somewhere that's far, and I need a buddy driving with me, and he starts sleeping, we're going to have some conversations. And there's a reason why I need you. Stay awake. That's just for driving. He was about to go through it. He was open with them. They knew what was going on. He had told them before. But they couldn't keep watch. They could not keep watch. You know, I got a question for us this morning. Are we keeping watch? Because the body is willing, yeah, but spiritually speaking, things can become rough sometimes. Are you keeping watch? Are you alert? like a roaring lion. He wishes to devour you. And he will do so unless you stay alert. First point, an emotional quest. Christ suffered emotionally. His people deserted him. They went away from him. You know, the woman that is almost praised around the world as some kind of a goddess, Mary, his own mother, is nowhere to be found in Scripture. This is when he needs his mama most, right? I was going through some stuff last week, and I called my mama. And I don't do that all the time, With her and I are really close, but not that where, like, she's the one I call when I'm going through something. For some reason, I just felt I needed my mom. We started talking, and I was crying. I found myself crying after 5 minutes. I was so stressed, she was trying to calm me down. My mom is so wise, and she was being there. I felt like, man, it had been a minute since I was having a conversation like that with my mom. Christ was needing his mama here. She wasn't here. So the best ones were replacing her, and they weren't there neither. And then when it came time to render himself to the Romans, the Bible says that the betrayer was coming. One of his best friends. Well, there's two things here. First, it was one of his best friends. We know that, Judas. But it's one thing if you betray me in some other way, but for you to come and kiss me? Man, Christ is strong. Knowing that he kisses me to betray me, I would have done something. I don't know what it is. Christ's sufferings were emotional. We talked about this before in another lesson. But it's always good to reiterate things when it comes to Christ. And I think, for me, this lesson is personal once again because I'm revisiting it from another standpoint. It's from me. I'm speaking this lesson from me. If anything, you can just sit there and listen. But I got to preach to myself this morning. That as atrocious as the physical sufferings of Christ were, as unbearable as the pain may have been, the Bible says that his people deserted him before he underwent any kind of physical sufferings. It was an emotional quest for Christ. It wasn't just physical. Let's go to Mark chapter 15. Mark 15, we're going to start in verse 16 here. Martino. Yes, it was indeed a physical endeavor. That's the second point. A physical endeavor. Mark 15, verse 16. Bible says after the crowd had Pilate released Barabbas instead of him, Bible says the governor had Jesus flogged and crucified. Verse 16, the soldiers led Jesus away into the palace and called together the whole company of soldiers. Remember that robe I was talking about? Right here in verse 17. They put a purple robe on him and twisted together a crown of thorns and set it on him. And they began to call out to him, "Hail, King of the Jews!" Again and again they struck him on the head with a staff and spit on him. Ever been spat on before? I shared about that before with you guys that I have, and it was an accident. I was probably 10 years old, and I remember like it was yesterday. They they spit on God. So every time you do what's wrong, and you know you're doing it, you're spitting in God's face. And we can sit here and judge people who did that. We do that every day without sin. Especially when we're doing, knowing that we're doing it wrong. Spitting in his face. Wow. Falling on their knees, they paid homage to him, mocking him. And when they had mocked him, they took off the purple robe, they put his own clothes on him. They led him out to crucify him. A certain man from Cyrene, Simon, the father of Alexander and Rufus, was passing by on his way in from the country. And they forced him to carry the cross. He couldn't carry the cross anymore. Two very heavy beams of wood. They brought Jesus to the palace, to the place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull. Then they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it. And they crucified him. Of course, we know what a crucifixion is. Huge nails in the wrist, blowing up all the capillaries right there, all the veins. Not in the hands, in the wrist. An even bigger nail through both ankles, both feet. Go from one ankle into the wood. And then comes the time when he has to kind of adjust himself. Because there's pain in the foot as the body weighs on it. And when he decides, you know what, it's time for the pain in the foot to go, he's got to instantly lift himself up. Well, there's pain now in the wrist. This endeavor went on for 3 hours. He suffered physically. You know, I've done this before here, but I do this for myself. You know, each blow I associate it to my sin. Each time it was hit on the back, for example, it represents a sin for me. Or it represents a sentence that Christ enumerated on my behalf. Wham! I'm doing this for Tino. If I don't do this, he's done. Yeah. Wham! I'm doing this for my son. I personalize it. See, at this point, it's no longer about we or us. It becomes about Tino. It becomes about my pride, about my selfishness, about my lack of discipline. It becomes about my sin. About each time I failed Jesus. And each time I disregarded people. And each time I did not care about what others felt. Had Jesus not done that, I would be done today. I've been a Christian 25 years almost. And I sit here and I keep saying I've never looked back. The truth is, it's not about anything I've ever done or not done. I've been sustained by all this. Let's go to verse 33, the same chapter. At noon, darkness came over the whole land until 3 in the afternoon. And at 3 in the afternoon, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, Lord, Lord, lama sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? And I've shared it here before. In the French version of the NIV, the word forsaken is literally replaced by the word abandoned. My God, why have you abandoned me? Mon Dieu, pourquoi m'as-tu abandonné? today, I would know, of course, that there's one thing that separates us from God. And Chris today talked about one of those things, the lack of forgiveness. That's a sin. But any other sin, not just the lack of forgiveness. Sin in general presents a division between us and our Father. And it's not one that he constructs. He's ready to reach out. The Bible says his arm is not too short to reach out. Rather, our sins present too high a mountain between us and God. And the only time that Jesus could have ever felt forsaken by God, abandoned for the first time, divided from his God, from his Father, is if he had committed a sin. Third point, a spiritual matter. This is where things get real. Yes, he suffered emotionally and physically. But without this, you and I are nothing. You see, Christ did become indeed a sinner. Yes, I'll repeat that. And you can take that to the bank. Christ became a sinner, as perfect as he was. Because he took upon your sin. He took upon my selfishness. He took upon my pride, the dirt in me. And he put that on himself. So I can become him. So I can become perfect. And he did it for you as well. And so God couldn't have nothing to do with him anymore. I want you to pounce on that for a minute. Matter of fact, I want you to think about that for the rest of your life. When we sit here and talk about work on yourself, work on your attitude, work on your sin, work on this, work on that, it is not a joke. It's not just to say words. Someone sacrificed to the point of losing his relationship with his Father, so that very Father can become yours. Do you see why I still don't get it? This is not something that you get over a course of a couple of Bible studies. A few tears here and there do not determine whether or not you get this. This is a lifetime situation. And tears are not. It's the life that we live that allows us to respond to Christ's order. He died on the cross, brothers and sisters. There's all kinds of theological conversations as to where he went for those 3 days. Did he go to hell and deposit the sin there? Was he some type of middle place or somewhere? I'm not going to worry about where he went. I'm going to worry about what he did with that sin. Chapter 16, that's not on here, but I want us to read that. When the Sabbath was over, verse 1, Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James, and Salome bought spices so that they might go to anoint Jesus' body. Very early in the first day of the week, just after sunrise, they were on their way to the tomb, and they asked each other, who will roll the stone away from on the entrance of the tomb. But when they looked up, they saw that the stone, which was very large, had been rolled away. As they entered the tomb, they saw a young man dressed in a white robe, sitting on the right side, and they were alarmed. Don't be alarmed, he said. You are looking for Jesus, the Nazarene, who was crucified. He has risen. That's what is a smile on my face. That's why I can sit here and talk about all these sufferings. And I can talk about my sin and how devastating it is. There is indeed a happily ever after here. He has risen, brothers and sisters. That's what he did with that sin. He obliterated it. He destroyed it. He beat death to the punch. He beat Satan up. It says in verse 7, but go tell his disciples and Peter. He's going ahead to you into Galilee. There you see him, just as he told you. You know what's funny? We have to talk about this to those who have not found Christ yet. We're called to. In Matthew 28, Bible says, go to all nations and proclaim me. And I believe that as a congregation, it is something that we do not do well. We keep, for those of us who are saved, that salvation to ourselves. So we become spiritually selfish. We have something that's good and we keep it to ourselves. We have to share it with the lost, brothers and sisters. What Bible study are you in? Who are you introducing Christ to? But before we talk to the lost, this angel here tells them, go and tell the disciples and Peter. I don't believe that to one another we talk much about the fact that Jesus has risen. Yeah. Just here. Talk about the things we like to gossip. Talk about people. What so-and-so may have done. What so-and-so did or what so-and-so did not do. But we don't talk about the fact that Jesus has risen to one another. When was the last time you pick up the phone, you call somebody, I just want to tell you, Jesus has risen. Can we talk about that? You see, you're laughing because it sounds so ridiculous. Since we just don't do it. It's not part of our nature. But the angel here told her, go and tell the disciples. I would like to have a conversation with you about the fact that Jesus has risen. So he saved me, and he put himself back on the throne. Now that's a double win. That's what I want to be a part of. Brothers and sisters, I already have a spiritual New Year's resolution. It doesn't just start in 2019, it starts now for me. I will make the cross the number one subject of my daily times with God. I've got to get to a point where I understand what he wants from me when it comes to the cross. I pray that we can all join each other in doing the same thing. Amen? Amen. Amen. A couple of very quick announcements. First of all, this coming Wednesday after the congregational midweek, there will be a gathering for those who want to partake in the play coming up with respect to Christmas. Amen. So that's going to be right afterwards. It's not going to be long at all. And I want to reiterate the importance of this coming Wednesday. I pray that everybody can be here. Those who are not, please tell them to be here because it's going to be a conversation about the new direction of the church as far as groups and leadership and different things. We're also going to talk a little bit about special contribution. I appreciate Leo talking about special. It's touched all of us in many ways, shape, or form. Leo said that it's on September 30th which is true. What he did not reiterate is that September 30th is next Sunday.
Yep.
It's in a week. Come on. This is it. What's the goal?
50,000.
Jesus. That's the goal. But we do have a numerical goal. That is 50,000 brothers and sisters. And I believe God is going to allow us to kill that. Amen. I really believe that because we deal with an amazing God. Let's say what a prayer. Shall we know this lesson? Dear Father God, we are overwhelmed by your love. Your love is a mystery to us because we don't comprehend it. I know I don't. Why do you still love me after all that I do wrong every day? Why do you even give me this opportunity to oversee your people, to serve them? Why am I here? Father, why did you get me to get born in Abidjan, Ivory Coast? Why did you lead me to LA? Father, why did you take me to Atlanta? Why am I here in Dayton? Father, why am I going to be where you're going to lead me next? Father, it's because Christ died on the cross. So I can have this life. I pray, Father God, that we can all call ourselves, Father, to one sentence. He has risen. So we can encourage one another. Father, I gave a challenge last week. For us, we got somebody here, write 10 things about me that I need to work on. Father, 10 things, 5 things, 2 things, 20 things. Doesn't matter what it is. Because what matters is every time someone is going to write that list, they're also going to tell you, but don't worry. Jesus has risen. Amen. That's who we worship. Father, we love you. We thank you for Christ. Yes, him dead on the cross, Father, him buried. And more importantly, him resurrected. In his name we pray. Amen. Amen, brothers and sisters. Thanks for listening.